tall, dirty chai latte.
Tall, dirty chai latte, no worries. Was that all for today, mate?
That's all, thank you. Thank you.
Dirty chai latte.
Thank you.
Have a good day, mate.
You too. Hi and welcome to Terry Travels and welcome to a kind of hopper's crossing. I'm going to do a bit of a random video today. It's going to be a bit wild, a bit unusual. I want to check out a new shopping centre to start with, and then I am going to wander off to some country towns around the west of Melbourne, just little tiny towns, and I'm going to see what's there. I'm doing it on a Sunday morning while it's quiet. Now, it is public holidays, and yesterday there was a football grand final in Melbourne, and so tons of people stayed up late and partied and did all that kind of jazz. And it's quiet. It's nice and simple and quiet at the moment, so it's a good time for me to do this. So what I'm doing is I'm heading down to Mambourin to this shopping centre that my friend Sean told me looks really good. It's like a new shopping centre. I'm not going to go into the shopping centre at all. I'm going to just cruise past and show you what a new built up area, like a new suburban area, looks like in Melbourne, particularly in Melbourne's west, and just go from there. So I'll just pop you back on the front and we'll get cruising. I got my dirty chai latte from Starbucks because I don't like their coffee, but I don't mind their dirty chai lattes. And I've just got to get some directions from my Google Maps to figure out exactly where this place is. Now, it might not look like it, but we are in a growth area of Melbourne where the suburban sprawl is sprawling. And so I'm heading out to the edge of that. When we moved here a quarter of a century ago, it was nothing like it is now. There were a lot more open fields and canola fields and farms and things like that, but they don't have that now. It's very much different. Now, I'm just going to get through this roundabout and pull up over here in this bus stop and get the GPS thing working. There won't be another bus for a long time, so I'm not interfering with anybody's bus thing. Yeah, it's actually 6:30 in the morning. I woke up early and decided to get this thing happening. I got a few little pins stuck in of these little country towns I want to visit. Might go through Little River, because Little River's an interesting place. It's one of the places where the original Mad Max movie was filmed. And it's changed a bit, but it hasn't changed terribly. The locals are very good at...
100 metres at the roundabout, take the first exit onto McGrath Road, C701.
There we go, we're getting our instructions. Yeah, it's the people in Little River look after the fact that it's a nice rural little community very, very assiduously. Yeah, when I was at Starbucks, the guy says, "You got the Starbucks app?" And I went, "No, because I've got so many apps on my phone. It's crazy." I don't know whether it's like that for you, but you end up with screens and screens of apps you only use very occasionally. And yes, there are benefits and bonuses you get for having the app and all that kind of thing. But I've only got a few of those kind of apps on my phone because I tend to want to keep it at least running okay. I don't want it to be...
Turn right onto McGrath Road.
Okay, it wanted me to turn right there, so I'm going to have to go down here. I'm going to go through this servo and get onto McGrath Road. What do you call these when where you are?
Land Road, C703, then turn left onto McGrath Road.
What do you call these? Service stations, yeah, like petrol stations. There are so many different names for them. We just call them servos here. Those servos
Turn left onto Berlin Road, C703,
and then on
turn left
McGrath.
onto McGrath Road.
Okay, McGrath Road. We're going down McGrath Road. Yeah, this is a part of the local area that I don't go to very much. These houses are all like 30, 40 years old. But as we get further in, you get to see there's a lot of new housing around. And it's very, very different. One of the things about the new housing I really hate is black roofs on houses, because it gets very hot here. It might not look it now, and it's only 10 degrees at the moment, but it can get up above 40 degrees here on a really, really hot summer day. And having a black tiled roof on your house means you're basically baking your house, and you've got to use a lot of electricity to cool your house, and so you end up with heat islands. And that's one of the concerns I have with this area is heat islands and the stress that puts on communities and the environment. Now, where am I going? I think I'm going the right way.
Continue on Black Forest Road for 3 kilometres.
Yeah, so the heat island effect is a very big thing around here, and it's something that some new construction is looking into. But out this way, you'll probably see a whole bunch of black rooftops. Really a big problem. And where I live, it's a little bit different because the trees have had time to develop, so there is the ability for trees to shade areas and cool them down a little bit. And when we had our roof redone, we made sure that when they painted, or when they covered the tiles that were there, we had as pale a colour as possible so that it reflects more of the sunlight rather than absorbing it. And so you can start to see some dark roofs here. And that's a much better way of going about it. It might look a bit odd, and it does a little bit, but I really don't want to add to the heat island effect. I think it's a big problem out this way. So we're going to, so once we get past looking at this new shopping centre, we're going to be definitely heading out in the country and showing you some country stuff. See, here they're doing it a little bit better. They've retained some of the trees and things, and they have little creeks and run-offs for the water, because we're essentially in a low flat plain here, and there are times when the water does need to run off, and so they retain that a little bit, but you've still got these dark rooftops, and I'm not a fan, to be honest with you. But these houses here are probably about 10 years old. We're not quite into the brand new stuff yet. But yeah, I had lunch with my friend Sean, and I've known Sean for like 25, 30 years, and he's a school teacher out this way. And he said this shopping centre is cool, so I'm just going to cruise through it and just see how it looks. And because I needed to get a video out today, I thought I'd take you guys along with me. Now, once we get over this bridge, we are definitely into the new estates, and you'll see that sea of dark tiled housing roofs.
In 500 metres, turn right.
In 500 metres, I'm turning right. I think this may be the new shopping centre in here. Hello, Mambourin. So this is the new area. 25 shops.
Turn right, then turn right.
Turn right, then turn right. Yeah, I haven't been out here, and they're still doing a lot of construction. And I'm going to have a sip of my dirty chai latte. It's not all that far away to get here.
Take the next right, then your destination will be on the left.
Oh, how nice. I think I cruised past here once, but I haven't actually been here.
Your destination is on the left.
Right, shut up. Yeah, it looks like they're still doing a lot of construction here. But Sean says it looks good, so I'm going to check it out. As you can see, there's not a lot of infrastructure here. You've got the shops here and you've got a car wash. But as far as schools and public transport and all that kind of jazz, there's not a hell of a lot here. You've got a laundry. You've got a burger joint, because you always need a burger joint. You've got a Coles, which is a supermarket. We've got a duopoly of supermarkets here. And there's Coles and there's Woolworths. They're the two supermarkets you've got as a duopoly. And I'm just going to cruise around the car park and get out of here. And Coles and Woolworths together are called Colesworth. And they dominate the industry. The people who grow the food, the farmers and the manufacturers of food and things like that, get a shitty deal from Coles and Woolworths. So third parties find it very hard to get into the market, because things like, the only one that's really got any traction at all is Aldi, which I like. I prefer going to Aldi than I do to go to the Colesworth shops, because there's lots of weird and wonderful stuff at Aldi. It's random, and come on lady, get your bum over there. There's some random stuff that you don't find at the other ones, and I kind of like that. Now when I get out of this car park, I'm going to reset the GPS to take us to Little River, which, if you've heard of the Little River Band, it was named after Little River because they were doing a gig in Little River and the band didn't have a name yet. And so at random they just said Little River Band. I'm actually going to park across this driveway that nobody's using and reset the GPS. It says 18 kilometres, so let's do that. Yeah, I do like doing driving vlogs, and I like driving around because I came to driving late in life. I didn't start driving till I was well into my 40s because Sally told me that I had to, and she wasn't driving me around all the time. And so I learned how to drive, and learning how to drive in your 40s is scary. There are all those physical and psychological skill sets you need that don't come naturally, and it's very, very scary learning how to drive as an older person.
In 600 metres, turn right onto Armstrong Road.
And I kind of like the fact that I did, and once I got used to it, and once I got over being terrified of everything and everywhere, I really enjoyed the freedom of driving. I think it's a fantastic thing to just enjoy and embrace the freedom of driving. I mean, I've driven very, very long distances since I learned how to drive.
Turn right onto Armstrong Road.
And I'm comfortable with that. It's really, it makes you feel a little bit like Warren Oates or somebody just doing an American road trip just to drive anywhere, really, once you get out of the city. Haven't been down here, look.
Continue on Armstrong Road for 1 kilometre.
Yeah, we're going the back ways, going away from the freeways, because freeways are boring. I hate driving on freeways when there's a lot of traffic. When they're empty, I bloody love it. But when there's a lot of traffic around, I am absolutely over freeways. And so if I can take a back road, I'll take a back road. I mean, I don't like C roads because they're usually dirt roads, but I don't mind like a 2-lane blacktop, just cruising around the countryside and realising, looking around, that you're the only person within 5 or 10 kilometres. I really groove on that for some reason. Time for some more dirty chai latte.
500 metres, use the middle lane to turn left onto Armstrong Road.
Use the middle lane to turn left. Is this it? No, it's not. It's the next one. Good thing there's no traffic around. Okay, I'm using the middle lane to turn, so I see what they mean.
Use the middle lane to turn left onto Ison Road.
Yep, doing that.
In 600 meters, turn right onto Windmill Road.
Yeah, I really don't know this area at all. And of course there's a McDonald's down here because every 3 or 4 kilometres in the urban sprawl, there's got to be a Mickey D's, there has to be a Red Rooster, and if you're really lucky, there's a Guzman y Gomez. But that's not always the case. Here we go, Windmill Road, Little River. And in just a little bit, we're going to be out of the urban sprawl and into the countryside. You should watch. And again, this is another shopping centre up here that I know nothing about. Because it doesn't matter how you think you know your hood. Out here, the neighbourhoods are expanding and there are new housing estates with silly names. Though they are starting to embrace Indigenous nomenclature. But most of them have silly names. There's a place called Riverdale, for instance.
Continue for 10 kilometres.
Continue for 10 kilometres. That's what I want to hear. Heading out to Little River. And then we might go around the Yuyangs because Little River's near the Yuyang Mountains. And just cruise around from there. It's not going to be much of a walking vlog this time because I haven't really figured out anywhere within striking distance where I want to do a walk. I'm going to do more walks in the future. Please don't think that I'm not going to do that on the channel, because I definitely am. However, not today. Today is a driving vlog. I just need to clear my head out, do a bit of a drive, show you a few things, and head back. I might even go to Anarchy, which is a great name for a place. See, here's where the road gets just 2-lane blacktop, and it's away from the urban sprawl. Once you get here, it's like immediately you're not where the trams run anymore. Not that we have trams out my way. Now we're going alongside the train line to Geelong, as you can see there. So here I can do 100 kilometres an hour, which is always fun. No, it says 80, so I better just do 80. And again, this is one of those roads where you can see absolutely no other traffic. And by the way, we just had some pelicans fly over because we're not too far away from the bay. And the pelicans do come inland sometimes to feed or nest. So we're actually, the freeway is on the other side of the railway tracks. There are a couple of kilometres. And most people going to Little River will take the freeway, but not us. We're taking the scenic route, though in a flat plain like this you don't get a lot of scenery, but you do get to go underneath the railway track. This is where the railway track that goes through Wyndham Vale from the city joins up to the Geelong line, so we're just near that. And up ahead are the Yuyangs, which I mentioned this in a previous video. When the volcanoes, which are just north of here, were exploding 12,000 years ago, a lot of this got covered in scoria. But before that, the volcanoes were a lot bigger and a lot more powerful. And 1 million years ago, where we're driving was a sea of lava. And the Yuyangs over there on the left were islands in a sea of lava. It was not a good time to be around. And of course there are no humans here, because humans only hit this continent 60, 70,000 years ago. But before that, there were catastrophic things happening with volcanoes, which are still around. There are volcanoes between here and South Australia. And we've just got a sign up here saying, beware of kangaroos. And we're still early enough in the morning where we may get a couple of kangaroos. We might not, but it's one of those things you've got to be aware of while you're driving in crepuscular hours in this area. So you definitely have to just be aware of that. And we've got a blinking red light up ahead for some reason. So after we hit this ridge, I've got to just see what's happening. Oh no, it's actually a cyclist. I thought it was one of those construction lights. But I'll gently go around this cyclist, because life's hard enough for cyclists. You don't have to make it harder. But yeah, so I'm just fanging it along the back road to Little River, which there's not a lot there. There's houses and they've all got big yards and there are hobby farms and things like that, but it's not like a built up area. And they're really against housing estates in Little River because it'll change the tone of the area. And I can understand that. If you've got a nice gig going in a nice little rural town, the last thing you want is a whole bunch of black rooftops and McDonald's all over your place. You want to kind of retain the serenity. So I've got a lot of respect for the people in Little River who resist the urban sprawl, though eventually all this is going to be housing. There's no way it isn't. The land's cheap. Its infrastructure's not hard to get to it. So all of this, 20 years from now, this will be housing. But in the meantime, it's just the old scoria plains that used to be volcanic. And if you dig down any distance, you're going to find a layer of volcanic debris underneath these plains. And as we head up here, the Yuyangs are going to get bigger. They were a meeting place for Indigenous people, and there are a lot of sacred sites and things like that up here. The road, of course, isn't the best, but that's to be expected. And I wish the sun was out. I mean, they say it's going to be intermittently sunny, but we're south of the Great Dividing Range, which ends just down near Mount Macedon. And if you go north of the ranges, there's a weird thing where it's cloudy down here and the weather's overcast a lot. But once you get north of the Great Dividing Range, even though it's just the tail end of the mountain range, the weather gets sunny a lot more. I'll actually have to do a drive where I go up past Mount Macedon and show you that instant change in the climate once you get north of the mountain. It's a very odd thing, but it happens a lot. In fact, one of these days I should take you up to Echuca or somewhere like that on the River Murray, up in the Riverland and on the border with New South Wales, because that's always a nice area, lots of historic stuff, lots of riverboats, all that kind of thing. But here they graze some cattle, they graze some sheep occasionally, but for the most part it's not a verdant and abundant area. And I'm going to drink some more chai latte because I forgot to bring a bottle of water. I always do that when I'm doing drives. I forget to get water, and then I've got to hydrate. We're going to turn left onto Edgar's Road. And there's a few sheep over there in the paddock.
Continue for 5 kilometres.
And they look like they're just about to get their spring shearing, because the fleeces are a bit verdant there. I think they may well be lambing ewes. Yeah, there's a few lambs there, so they're on adjustment there, obviously. So yeah, we're going to get to Little River. I kind of like it. I don't hang around there much, but I like the fact that within striking distance there's this little rural town. And that's going to be the theme of the day. Now that we've done the new shopping centre, the theme of the day is little tiny rural towns that I can get to fairly easily from where I live. I've also got a mission while I'm out and about from Middle-Aged Geek Girl. And the mission is to find her some cakes. She wants a couple of cakes. Not like birthday cakes, but little cakes and confectionaries kind of things. So I'm going to be doing that. And usually country towns have nice bakeries, and bakeries are always open on Sundays. So it looks like that's what I'm going to need to do. There's a bit of wheat growing over here on the right too. So they must have had a good year for rain, because the wheat's doing pretty well there. When I was a kid, wheat used to be a lot taller, but wheat's shorter these days because some guy invented a kind of wheat that grows very short, which means you don't get a lot of stalks to it. And it's actually helped starvation in the world because it grows faster and you get the good stuff that you want from wheat a lot easier when it doesn't grow as tall. And so this guy invented short wheat, and particularly in countries where starvation's big, they can harvest it fast. And it's one of those things that some guy comes up with an idea that's very practical, and it saves a lot of lives. And here are the trees showing the prevailing winds because they lean out of the wind. And there's lots of little old houses here, some of which were built after various wars, when returned soldiers got parcels of land, and so they'd build little farmlets. And so you get that architecture, which is very basic, and with corrugated iron roofs and plank walls and things like that. And we're heading into Little River now, going through the area for the hobby farms and things. You can tell because the water tank's up there. I don't think Little River has a bakery, but I'm going to find a country town that has a bakery because it's not too big a task to do that. But we're going to be going past.
In 500 meters, you will arrive at your destination.
Good for me. There's a little old church here. And then there's a Yuyangs Road. I might come back there. But we cross the railway tracks, one of the level crossings they haven't got rid of here. And you've always got to be very cautious with this, because if for some reason the lights and the barriers aren't working, you can be in deep shit. And where I'm going? I'll just go. I've arrived in Little River. And I think there's a pub down here. Oh, this boat here. This guy's been building this boat for a long time. And there's no way of getting it out of the yard. So this guy built this boat, and I'll just pause here and turn you a little bit toward the boat, if I can actually figure out which way it is. Yeah, so this guy's been building this boat forever. And it's just one of those passion projects that became a bit of a joke for locals. And some people decorating their yard and things like that. Bit eccentric around here. What I will do is I'll pop. Oh no, I won't pop into this driveway. Keep Little River green. Keep our green wedge safe. So, like I said, they're very passionate about their area. What I will do is I'll chuck a Yui up here. And we'll cruise through a Little River, and then I'll figure out where I'm going next. Because as I said, there ain't a plan. And what I'm going to do is just keep waffling and vlogging this until I have to edit, and then that's going to be the hard part. So I'll keep the recording going for now. But I will show you the pub at least. and we'll go from there. I love these little eccentric towns. They have character, they have texture. They're a bit of fun. Yes, I might go up straight ahead here and just see what I can find. It's 42 kilometres to Bacchus Marsh, but I don't think I'll go that way. Though I may have to go like toward it. And over here on the right, you got the CFA, Country Fire Authority, in case of bushfires. Yeah, go down here. And what's this? Is this a mechanics hall? Yep, Little River Mechanics Institute and Free Library Incorporated. Let me just turn you around for that. See if we can get you some of that. Yeah, I got my devil hat on. We'll have a quick look. These were community areas or community buildings where people did education, and there were community hubs, which is kind of cool. And we've even got a statue here of sorts, which is kind of cool. I'll take a look at the statue first. Australian World War I Nurses Memorial. That's very cool. I like that. Estimated 2,500 nurses embarked on for active service with the Australian Army Nursing Service during the First World War. Around 700 Australian nurses served overseas with other organisations. There's a whole thing there. And it honours a lot of them. So that's kind of cool. It's the sort of thing that people don't find out about because nobody comes down here. But local school across the road. And here's the Mechanics Institute itself. Protect nature now, stopped wildlife extinction. Third Sunday of each month, there's a Little River share. Share excess fruit and veg from your garden. Worm juice, crafts, and join and talk about the future of things. So there's a rich community here. And the Mechanics Institute here, with the library, are a big part of that. I kind of like that. And we've got one of the old lampposts here as well. And there's a bus terminal there. And I don't know whether you can hear it, but tons of birds around here as well. They're trying to protect the rural lifestyle here, and I appreciate that. We're not all that far from Melbourne, and yet it feels like you're 1,000 kilometres away. Let's get back in the car and find something to do. Okay, time to throw another Yui. So I'm just going to go down to the intersection here where it's a bit wider and do that, because we're heading 44 kilometres away to a place I've never been.
Take the next left onto Flinders Street, then turn left onto Rothwell Street.
Oh, shut up.
Head west on Flinders Street towards River Street.
It doesn't know where I am.
In 150 metres, turn right onto River Street.
I've got to turn right onto River Street apparently.
Take the next right onto River Street, then turn left onto Yangs Road.
Okay, got to go to Yangs Road.
Take the next left onto Yangs Road, then turn left to stay on Yangs Road.
Hopefully this is steering me the right way. There's the train station down there. Okay,
Take the second left to stay on Yangs Road.
Okay, we're going to Yangs Road. And here we go. Up towards the Yangs.
On Yangs Road for 3 kilometres.
Yep, so we're heading up towards the Yangs now. There is a climb up there, but I'm not going to do it today because I'm sedentary and lazy. But it's not something I would be adverse to doing in the future. But not right now. I don't have the right shoes for it apart from anything else. More sheep here, if you have a look at it. And there's some lambs as well. Over these little bucolic bridges. And we're saying farewell to the city of Wyndham, which is a local government area. Little old bridge here. It's actually here we are, city of Greater Geelong we're in. So we're allowed to do 100 kilometres now. 100 kilometres an hour. Though I'm not inclined to really fang it because I want you to be able to see things. But yeah, we're heading right to the U-Yangs. We're going to go past it. And we're going to find a place called Bunjil's Lookout. And Bunjil is the eagle that looks after the Melbourne area in general. We're now in Wadawurrung country, the land of the Wadawurrung people of the Kulin Nation, and respects to the elders, past, present, and emerging. So yeah, we're going to skirt around, I think, the south side of the U-Yangs to get to Bunjil's Lookout. And from there we can head to Anarchy. There's a couple of possibilities. But I might even head up to Meredith or somewhere like that. I'll just see.
In 600 metres, turn left onto Farris Road.
Yeah, I'll just see what we've got once we get to Bunjil's Lookout and what's around. Oh, there's some sheep that have already been shorn. Not very well by the look of it. There's some raggedy ass shearing going on there. See,
take the next left onto Farris Road.
So not going that close to the U-Yangs. See, all Australians are experts on sheep shearing because we go to the agricultural shows once.
For 7 kilometres.
Because we go to the agricultural shows once a year, and that makes us an expert on wood chopping and sheep shearing. Actually, I grew up partly on farms, so I've got a little more knowledge than some other people have. And I once dated somebody whose parents had a sheep farm. Back many moons ago, when the world was young and dinosaurs ruled the earth, I dated somebody whose parents had a sheep farm. And I was actually married to somebody whose parents had a farm in between Glen Innes and Inverell up in New South Wales, in northern New South Wales. I only visited their farm once. They didn't like me. Oh, it's only 80 here, so I've got to slow down a bit. There's a couple of baby sheep there. So yeah, we're skirting around the southern side of the U-Yangs, and we're going to be heading for Bunjil's Lookout. And if I find a cake shop or a bakery or something, while I'm getting some cakes, I might just score a meat pie, because I'm in the mood for a meat pie, I think. And it just occurred to me that I haven't had breakfast. And it's 7:10 in the morning, so we're doing okay. And the dirty chai latte does have a little bit of sugar in it, so I've got energy to keep me going. There we are. Not sure how well lit I am, but I can actually look at you and you can look at me. Look at me. Is there smoke up ahead? Don't think there's a bushfire. I wonder if there's a burn off or something, because it's looking a little smoky up ahead. Not sure what the hell is going on there, but it ain't far away and I can smell smoke. Don't worry, that's not that kind of a bushfire. That's probably a burn off. Because it's not windy, the smoke's just clinging to the ground. And if it were anything dangerous, my phone would give me an alert. Because we're very good with that. But yeah, if you can see it going a bit misty behind me, that's the smoke. And behind you, we're flanking the railway track again, down to Geelong. That's what I might do. I'll just solve my problems. After we do Bunjil's Lookout, I can go down to Belmont Market again, which I've done before on the videos, and just see what's around there. And I know they've got cakes at Belmont Market, and it doesn't cost anything to go in. So we'll do Bunjil's Lookout, because I promised you that, and then we will do Belmont Market again. I won't make you watch the whole video of me going to Belmont Market. We'll do a hard cut from Bunjil's Lookout to Belmont Market. And I can sell some cakes. And then head home straight up from Geelong. And put my headlights on too. That's something we do in the country around here. Even if it's a sunny day. You put your headlights on just so people got that extra awareness that somebody else is on the road, because there can be very, very random people, myself included, driving along the country roads here. So it just helps with visibility a little bit, and it's a courtesy which this person is not observing. Yeah, so I've got little rural hobby farms around here, and they haven't cut down all the vegetation.
600 metres, turn right onto Windermere Road.
In 600 metres, we're turning right onto Windermere Road, which looks nothing like Windermere. I've seen video of Windermere. It looks nothing like Windermere. Here we go. Ooh, there's a sign here. I'm going to stop and show it to you as we cruise past. There's a sign here that says this is the way to the prisons. Can you see that? We're heading out where the rural prisons are.
Continue on Windermere Road for 2 kilometres.
We're not going quite to the prisons, believe me. And these are the prisons where the really hardcore criminals are. Like your serial killers and your mass murderers and your drug bosses are all out this way. Which is probably why it's cheaper to buy a hobby farm out here. Everybody's NIMBY when it comes to prisons. And so the hobby farms are a little cheaper than they would be, say, north of Melbourne, or once you get past the mountains east of Melbourne. So, yep. And again, we've got more kangaroo signs here. Now, they have built a housing estate over there on the left. So maybe people aren't as scared of prisons as I thought. This is part of the greater Geelong urban sprawl, because Geelong's the second biggest city in Victoria, and so people obviously want to find places to live in, so they do. It's getting there. What's this? This is a hill. What the hell? We're off the plains now. We're into slightly...
600 metres, at the roundabout, continue straight to stay on Windermere Road.
Yeah, we're in places got hills. Not big ones, admittedly not bigger ones. But there are hills here. I kind of like that, a bit of variety. I have actually, once upon a time, I did have my learner's permit to learn how to drive. And the person with whom I was living at the time and I drove from Melbourne to Perth all the way across the country, and we got very used to driving 200 kilometres dead straight on a plane. If you go as you head towards Western Australia, you go across the Nullarbor Plains, and the way it works is there's a dead straight road for 200 kilometres. Then there's a roadhouse where you can get fuel, and choc top ice creams. And then the road turns a little bit, and then there's another 200 kilometre stretch of straight road. And it does this like 4 or 5 times. So like for nearly 1,000 kilometres, you're going dead straight for 2 hours, and then the road just jinks a little bit. It's an incredible trip to do. One day I want to do it again. Sally doesn't want to do it. She doesn't want to drive to Perth. But if somebody wants to give me a junker car, like a real ship box, I would drive to Perth in a hot minute and just like sleep in the car. I'd need to fork out like $800 and get myself a jackery or some kind of a power source, because I do use a CPAP machine. But I could sleep in the car and drive to Perth and back, which would be marvellous. I could do so many good videos with that. So in case you haven't, like and subscribe. I want to get this video monetized so I can buy a shipbox car and drive to Perth. Or even drive to Darwin. I would love to drive to Darwin as well. That would be fun, because I do love Darwin. And I've never driven there. We've flown there about 4 times, but I've never driven to Darwin. And that would be fun. So we're in a place called Corriedale. Now, again, this is an area I've never been to. I've never driven this road before. I've driven the road on the north side of the You-Yangs, which we've passed. We're past the You-Yangs now. But I've never driven this area here, heading towards Bunjil's Lookout. So we'll just see how we go. And again, urban sprawl here, because the land's cheap. You kind of go between the urban sprawl and these little hobby farms that have been here for a very long time. And we're almost out of dirty chai latte. $2 a bag for horse poo. A lot of places do that, the little hobby farms. There's like an honour box out the front of the hobby farm where they'll sell you bags of horse poo to put on your garden. And you see a lot of them around. Okay, we're going to turn left up here and find Bunjil's Lookout. So we're heading in the opposite direction from Bacchus Marsh. And kind of heading tangentially towards Geelong, which is why I thought I would go to Belmont Market after I do this and just see what's there and buy, sell a cake.
In 600 metres, turn right onto Stacey's Road.
Okay, we're not going to be here for very long. And all of these housing estates here are brand new. They weren't here last time I was down this way. Heading up into the hills again.
Continue on Stacey's Road for 6 kilometres.
Okay, we're going to go up into the hills and over the other side. Now, I'm not expecting a lot from Bunjil's Lookout. It looks down on a little valley, but I just saw it on a map, on Google Maps. And so I thought, give it a go. Haven't been there. Let's have a look at it. And by the way, the weather's cleared up a little bit, hasn't it? Looks like we might even get a bit of sunshine, which is kind of cool, unexpected, but I like it. And we're actually on a hill. Wiggly road up ahead. Cool. I like a challenge. But yeah, driving across Australia is, without any exaggeration at all, an epic thing to do. It takes you 3.5 days if you do it at a reasonable pace. So, and there are no big cities between Adelaide and Perth. Perth is the biggest, is the only city over 1 million people. It's the most isolated city over 1 million people in the world because there are no big cities around it. I love Perth. There are a lot of people in Perth I love, good friends over there. But it is isolated, tucked onto the shore of the Indian Ocean. And to drive there is an epic trip with no exaggeration at all. I mean, you go through hills, you go across deserts, you go along the Great Australian Bight. It's just a magnificent trip. And people who haven't done it go, isn't it a bit boring driving along these plains for hundreds of kilometres? And having done it, I can safely say it isn't. The landscape constantly changes, it evolves, and there are wedge-tailed eagles on the road eating roadkill, and the climate changes, and you just get a sense of the land that you don't get flying over it. It's like in a weird way, it's like when I walked from Werribee to Melbourne, and that changed my relationship to the place I live, because I walked it and I could see all the little details of walking it, and the industrial areas and the suburban areas and the old suburbs and the new suburbs, and the way people live and the way people decorate their environment, all that kind of stuff. And when you drive to Perth, you get a sense of just how big Australia is, and just how marvellous it is, and how we've got to protect it from environmental stuff, environmental pollution and things like that, and mining in particular. It broadens your mind in the same way that any kind of travel does. But driving to Perth makes you feel heroic in a really odd way, and I want to recapture that if I possibly can, because there's something, I mean, travelling is something all of our ancestors have done. Our ancestors walked out of Africa and walked across the planet and travelled and learned and saw new things and did new things and became new things.
Turn right onto Geelong Land Road, C14.
Looks like we're going to go past some of the canola fields. In more uncivilized parts of the world, they call canola rapeseed, which doesn't sound good. It doesn't sound polite, doesn't sound nice. But here we call it canola. And this time of year, the flowers are blooming in the canola fields. So you get all these beautiful yellow paddocks all over the place. It's a nice, easy, lucrative crop for the farmers. And of course somebody's got to overtake me because they're in a Holden. Here we go, canola fields, which are always lovely, and it's a good thing. It's a kind of, it heralds springtime for me living out here, to see the canola fields. And they're vast as well. There used to be a lot of them closer to my place, but when they sprawled the urban sprawl, a lot of the places that used to be canola fields 10, 15 years ago are now black roofed housing. And that's a pity, because I miss them. And just seeing them here now is very, very cool.
In 600 metres, turn left onto Pringles Road.
Update. I'm out of dirty chai latte. And there's tons more canola fields ahead, but we're going to be turning left.
kilometers.
Okay, another 11 kilometers. So this is slightly further away than I thought it was. But what else am I going to do on a Sunday morning? I'm not religious. So, yep, cruising around the countryside on a sunny springtime Sunday morning. It does not get any better than that. Though I wish I wasn't out of chai latte. So the afternoon today is going to be spent editing this video and uploading it. And I'm hoping to release it tonight. So we'll see how we go. And up on the hills there on the left, you'll see a few more canola fields. Get out of the way. Nearly hit a bird with a death wish. And I've actually done that before and I don't like it. It makes me feel sick to the stomach. But when I was up in the river country up past Echuca, actually I'm going to stop here and turn the camera a little bit because there's nothing on this road. But I will turn the camera slightly toward this way. And you can see the canola fields up on the hill there. Very cool. Because I don't want to pause here too long in case something comes over the ridge and hits me. But yeah, where was I? What was I waffling about? But yeah, I got to edit the video tonight and get it uploaded for tonight. Which is pretty much what I do, because it doesn't matter whether I'm doing this channel or whether I'm doing my movie channel. I'm a last minute kind of guy. I get my videos done sometimes within a few hours of them being released, even though I'm releasing them at 7 in the morning, because I just don't seem to have the ability to get them done ahead of time very often. And that is a bit of a problem, and I really want to try to correct that at some stage in the future. And here we go, we're coming directly at the canola fields now, which is kind of lovely. Yeah, I just don't have the ability to do these things ahead of time. Though I think as we head towards the end of the year, I might try to stack a few videos and, you know, sit down and have a dedicated day of planning a lot of the videos for the rest of the year on both channels. And that way I can do them ahead of time and not stress out as much about getting them published when I'm scheduled to publish them. Because Auntie YouTube, in her finite wisdom, punishes you when your videos don't come out on time. And this is quite a steep hill. So, you know, you've got to get them done if you want your channel to thrive. And I do want to get this channel to the stage where I can monetize it. At the moment, I'm not getting paid for doing these travel videos. I've got to get 1,000 subscribers and 14,000 hours of viewing time in a year. And the canola's got even better. So once I've got that, I can start monetizing the channel. And I'm building up toward that. Shit, we're on a mountain of canola at the moment. And that's kind of cool. And unexpected. And it doesn't show up on Google Maps when you're looking at this area. But basically, I'm on the top of a mountain ridge of canola. Which basically gets turned into cooking oil. Wow! I'm impressed. So I hope Bunjil's lookout is kind of okay, because I'd hate to travel 44 kilometres and then find out it's a bit of a fizzer. But that's the thing with travel, you find unexpected beauty, like the mountain of canola. and you also find things that are disappointing. So I'm hoping Bunjil's Lookout's at least a bit cool. And then I can head down to Belmont Market, and then I can buy cakes for the girl, and all is right with the world. But yeah, I've never been out this way. I've been north of here. I've been to Anarchy and places like this, but I've never been along this road. But yeah, the video should get more interesting over the next bit because the weather's picking up. I mean, I did the walk from Werribee to Melbourne in the middle of winter, which was, you know, it'd be easier in the springtime. If I started that video series now, it'd be piss easy because it's not as cold. Even though it is 10 degrees outside, I was doing parts of the walk to Melbourne when it was like 1 and 2 degrees. But this time of year it'd be duck soup. We're hitting a community. I'm not even sure what it is. And that's the beauty of it. You go to places you don't know what they are. And sometimes they don't even have names. You get like 5 or 6 houses together, and the place where they are never has a name. And there's a bit of a gully down there as well. We're hitting a few hills, so we've got to be getting closer to Bunjil's Lookout because we're getting hilly country, and we're going down in the bowels of the earth here. Shit, never been along here. This reminds me of Galston Gorge up north of Sydney. I'll tell you the Galston Gorge story. I got invited to a New Year's Eve party with friends whose parents had a property at Galston on the other side of Galston Gorge from the public transport. It was only about 5 kilometres. So I decided to walk it, and then there's a windy gorge road that goes all the way down to the bottom of Galston Gorge and up the other side. And I was young and healthy, and I knew I could walk it and then go to the party and get a lift home. So I'm walking, it's afternoon, I'm walking down Galston Gorge Road, and just as I'm hitting one of the curves, a car goes over the gorge, into the gorge. And so me and a couple of people whose cars pulled up after this car go down, and about 10 metres down, the car's wedged sideways on a couple of trees. And the people were okay.
400 metres, turn right onto Steiglitz Road, C142.
Okay, I'll tell you the rest of the story after I do this turn, because the GPS is going to talk at me. Here we go, 400 metres on the left is Bunjil's Lookout.
In 400 metres, turn left.
Yeah, so these people were okay. Their car was wedged down there. We helped them out. We, tried to console them because, their car had just gone off a bloody cliff. And fortunately, one of the people who stopped and helped them gave me a lift to the party. But it was
Take the next left, then you will arrive at your destination.
Here we are. Maude Recreation Reserve, because we're in a place called Maude. Yeah, so that turned out okay. But there's something heart-rending about watching a car go off a cliff with people in it. But anyway, I've arrived at Bunjil's Lookout. So we'll park here somewhere. It's a very random kind of car park area. And we'll take a look at Bunjil's Lookout. Morning. Okay, and we've even got canola in the distance. But yeah, here is Bunjil's Lookout, and I might want to put on the wind muff onto my mic because it is a little bit breezy up here. So there's the lookout, and put the lanyard on the camera, of course. It's very windy and a bit cold up here, but here's the view, looking down on the valleys below and across to the other side. This is cooler than I thought it was going to be. And of course there are carvings along here of Bunjil. And we can look way down there and up here as well. I like this. We'll do a slow pan across the valley. Was it worth it? Yeah. Should I have dressed warmer? Yeah. But it looks like people are camping up here as well because there's a couple of tents down there. So it must be a free camping area. But yeah, they've got seats here. That's looking back towards the east. We have these carvings here. And there's some benches down there as well. This is really nice. It's not like spectacular, but it is quite lovely and very peaceful. And there is a plaque down here, so I'll read those for you. There you go. I'll actually freeze frame that for you so you can read all about Bunjil. And the history. And there's another one over here that's not doing so well. The creator of the Kulin land, it says. But yeah, the camera is a bit low on battery, so I'm going to charge it. So we'll head back to the vehicle. So there is a camping area here. You can camp for 48 hours and make donations here. But there's a barbecue and some benches and a fire pit. So you can free camp here. And look at that sky. Beautiful. See you at Belmont Market. Okay, we have reached Belmont Market. There's a few more stalls around than there was last time, but not many. Still a bit damp, as you can see on the floor there. But we'll see what we can find. Got to find cakes. Got to find something for middle-aged good girl.
Yeah, so it's like...
But we'll look for movies. I think we may find cakes in the shed there. But we will see. A lot of people are complaining around here because the local football team lost the grand final. I don't have a dog in that fight, so whatever. And I've got to get some food too because I haven't eaten. It's after 8 o'clock and I've been running around for hours. So I'll see what we can find. Just picked up some more dodgy movies, but I've got to find cakes for the girl. So I better get that done. The guy at the DVD shop said, yeah, it's quiet because of the football. Everybody's unhappy. So let's go inside and see if we can find cakes for sale. Can I get one of the apple danishes?
Beautiful.
and a chocolate muffin and one of the blueberry muffins.
That's all right.
Thank you.
No problem.
So how much?
Next 12.
12, okay, there's 12, 15, yeah.
Oh, thank you. Put it there, go back.
Thank you.
That's it.
Go back. Oh, thank you.
Got a couple of muffins, which is good. They're like little cakes, aren't they?
We used to like Thomas. We used to love all these.
Picked up a couple of things in there. Had a chat with the guy who's interested in the camera. But just going to head out now and go home, I think. I got myself an apple Danish. I got to sell a couple of muffins. I think we're doing okay. And I picked up a few other things as well. But give you a look at the market again. So we're going to head out and head home after a very packed morning of all sorts of different things. So hopefully I can edit something together for this video. So that's it this time around. Thanks a lot for watching. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Support the channel at patreon.com/TerryTalksMovies. I'll be back in a week with another one. Don't know what I'm doing, because I don't know what I'm doing. So until then, take care of yourselves, have some fun, and travel well.